So, what we say can change everything. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah, really can. This is a sound wave of Let's Get It On. Last week, you guys remember?
Yes.
Remember?
I got receipts.
I'm just kidding. Actually, it's I love you. How'd that feel? Right? It's different, yeah?
Same.
Javier, he's
Depends on the person.
got a little Spanish in him, I
his
think.
love language.
Yeah, you know it is. Physical touch for sure. All right.
Acts of service.
So, sound waves, right? They ebb and flow. You can see it. I love you. You can actually see it in the wave, right? This is sound, visual sound. I'm in music a lot. I do a lot of music, so I'm very used to this kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of show you guys a visual of sound, right? Let's break it down. You can see the peaks and the lows. Make it a little more simple. See how it kind of plateaus there at the top and comes down and comes back up. Well, I drew a crudely thing with my mouse here. What do you call a three-humped camel? Pregnant. I like it. I just thought about that. Hey, you wanna hear about it? All right, so we got this three-hump thing going on here, right? And this is gonna make a lot of sense because it kind of looks like a wave. Right? Tell me this doesn't look like a wave. That's a wave. It looks just like a sound wave, just like a physical wave. It's the same thing. This is a three-act structure from storytelling. Not the exact one I use, but this is a very basic one. So if you guys want to take a picture of this is your basic three-act structure, okay? This is what Hollywood spends $200 million a movie on. This, getting this right. This is my wave. 1, 2, and 3, okay? My three-act structure is a little different. I prefer the climax more in the middle towards the end, where they do it at the very end, right? Because I'm an author, because I'm a writer, I've studied this stuff. In writing, in books, I prefer this way. And the reason for that I'm going to explain. First, here's the unholy trinity. Everybody remember this? Dig in. Let it drip all over you. You know, soak it right.
The wave, right?
Yeah, the wave.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
And like any good things, a story comes in waves. It has its ups and its downs, right? Just like a good song. You are too close to your phone taking that video, man, of the unholy trinity. We're going to talk about that later. We got foreplay, climax, and the money shot, Wink. You know? Yeah. So we're going to dig in here. Foreplay. You know what foreplay is, yeah? So the vibe and introductions, well, it's a new concept, I wasn't sure. Vibe and introductions, world problem, this is more than half of your story. Start with the action, right? We want to take a story, we want to zoom in to the important part. Because if you talk about your grandma from Cincinnati for 5 minutes, and that has nothing to do with the cat you just got, why the hell did you tell me about your grandma? I don't need to know that stuff, right? How long did that coffee story take?
5 minutes.
Less. So these are the conversations I'm going to teach you to have, right? That was a very huge story, and everybody understood it, everybody could relate, you got it. And that's the conversations you have with your clients, employees, friends, family, right? Okay. Start at the action, just set the feeling for the first half or more of the story. It's the main goal, it's the purpose, it's the reason, right? The introduction, the main tension of at least the first half, the villain, the belief, whatever rejects the main goal. So you got your goal. I want to do this thing. What is the major tension standing in front of me getting this thing done? Make sense? Okay. The world, the setting, or the headspace of the story, no word vomit. That means don't just give the farm away, right? Build the world as you're seeing it. No one should know more than what you are seeing as you're telling the story. And that it goes into telling the story in the first person, right? So you want to take your audience with you instead of here's everything, right? So, foreplay. The hook. Every story needs a hook, right? What was my hook? What was the story? You guys ran. What the hell is this cup of coffee? Did he go to Columbia? Why is this cup of coffee is so important. It's a hook. Sucks you in, and everybody's on their edge with it. Is there Jack Daniels in this coffee? What is going on? But you got them hooked. You want to introduce your goal and your intention, which can also be part of the hook. This is not, I'm playing this fast and loose here, guys. You know, play with this. If we had time to do workshops, I totally would love that. We won't, but that'd be awesome. Goal and intention, right? Main goal. What is it you're trying to achieve? What is the main thing standing in your way? First failure. Man, he's tried with her. He got all the way up there, boy. And he just fell flat on his face. How embarrassing, right? How embarrassing in foreplay. So, we need a first failure because we need to show the limits of what we're trying to achieve. Our character, how big and important this thing is. And if he doesn't fail, she doesn't fail. It's called the hero's journey. I don't have time to go into that, but you guys have heard that
Does
before,
that make
right?
them relatable?
What's that?
Does that make them
Yes,
relatable?
100%. It makes them not only relatable, but it gives you a grandiose scale. Something that's bigger than yourself, right? Because if you tell a story that's just about you with no help, it's a boring ass story, right? I had all this tension, all these things against me. It's a boring story until I get to, boom, punchline. I walk in, through, I'll get to, you guys, you're getting ahead of me, you're so smart. Okay, first failure. Once that first failure happens, you understand where you are. Not only in the story, but where you are in your own stories, where you're at, right? And you can start to see this in other people's stories too. Start to recognize this. Practice by listening. Good stories telling starts by listening to good stories. You didn't think they'd that easy, did you? That would make for a short, boring movie and a shorter conversation. If I just said, dry cleaning didn't come through, that end, and walked away, right? That would suck. My laptop's not working, I go work at McDonald's. No, hell no, that'd be boring.
I was gonna be late, so I didn't go.
Yeah, so I didn't go. Terrible. All right, world and the characters. After that failure, that's when you want to start introducing the other characters of your story. Right? It doesn't have to be people. It could be a 92 Integra. Yeah. It could be no AC. It could be the temperature of the place I'm from and no service in my car to get it there. Right?
So is this when they do an outfit change?
Yeah. This is I love every time you say something
Enter new
clever.
character?
You just flip your hair. You know what I mean? It's so cute. The world and the characters. So what's my character? Right? What's the characters I'm working with in my story? The car.
The CEO.
CEO.
The
My belief.
supposed to be coffee boy.
Yeah.
The
It's
bulldog.
non-existent.
Yes, you got it. The bulldog.
The front desk
That's
girl.
the main one. Yeah. These are all characters, right? And you can feel the tension, right? I failed. I didn't have my laptop. I'm late. You know, my dry cleaning. You can feel the tension that I failed. But I push on, right? So I start building this road. You can see the terrain I was driving through, right? You could see it in your mind. I didn't describe every tree. I didn't describe the bark, you know? You knew the temperature, you knew what I was feeling, you knew what I was in, you knew what it looked like. And I'm building this world, and you're seeing it as I'm driving through it. Make sense? Building towards my goal. The whole way I'm there, my feelings talk about how it felt. When you're telling stories, people want to know how you feel. People don't buy things, they buy people, okay? If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. I'm saying. So, building towards the goal. We still have this goal. I still have to sell these great ads, right? Like, it just got a lot harder for me because it was so much bigger than I am, right? So I had to build up past where I was to be stronger to meet this goal. Make sense? All right, next on the list, climax. That's where it all falls apart. Everything is seemingly for nothing. Unexpected change. Okay? Big reveal. This is where it all comes together, obviously. It starts around the halfway point, maybe a little after, depending on your story. It's the big battle, the war, culmination of all the hard work to get there. You've been prepping for this war. I've been prepping for this one meeting for months. Right? Months. I just zoomed into the important part. Zoomed in, started at the action. Okay? This is where the bottom falls out. It was all for nothing. At the darkest or lowest point of the story, all hope is lost. I'm sweaty. I have nothing. She told me I'm late, and no one late. I walk in. He asked for a cup of coffee. I lost everything. I have nothing left. It's all gone, right? Someone or something changes the way you see the world, a perspective shift away towards the light. After I made that cup of coffee and I asked if anybody else wanted one, I said, fuck it, I'm making myself one. Screw this guy. You know what I mean? I'm done with this life. I'm going back to the farm. I don't care. Wrestling bulls and plowing fields is way easier than this. I'm not doing it no more. I'm making a cup of coffee and I'm resting. Right there in the AC. I didn't care. That was my change. That was my perspective shift. Does that make sense? That makes sense with the story I told you. Connecting, bless you. So, how's that look? That's the big show. That's our climax, right? This is where we walk into the door. Opening that door, boom. That's where you ask me to make the coffee. Okay? Everybody follow this? Makes sense? So when you're starting to listen to stories or starting to tell stories, remember this. Okay? It's going to make a big difference. Just like this one was important, you have to fail here too. Okay? If you don't fail here, you end up with the Titanic didn't hit the iceberg. Right? There was just this huge door. They both fit on it. They got rescued. They had lots of kids. It sucks.
Yeah, it's
Terrible.
just another ship.
Right? Romeo and Juliet didn't die. Like, that's a big deal. You have to have the second failure. You have to. Because we've grown so high, we're now in another realm of bigger than ourselves. Right? Does that make sense? I'm not holding you guys up there. So, disappointed and unsatisfied. I didn't say it was her climax, did I?
That's crazy. I can't believe it.
What's the big failure after a climax? She didn't climax.
I'll do better next time.
Right.
It's too late.
Yeah, I walked in that door, made his cup of coffee, and I was completely disappointed in myself. In 2 months I just wasted to get here. I did all this work, used both fingers. No, that's not. I'm canceled. No, for the coffee. Yeah, driving my car. You know. And still, nothing. I lost it all. Didn't matter how much I persevered through 3 hours of driving in the heat. Disappointed and unsatisfied in the climax, right? All right, this is where it all comes crashing down. Like I said, I started to lose faith in myself, in the preparation. My future's gone now. Back to the farm I go. Something at the bottom of this climax is an unsuspected change, right? The surprise. Something that gives you a bigger understanding of yourself, right? Purpose.
When he told you he was nervous?
Yeah. When I did it anyway, and it was nothing like I'd ever done, I had to completely change my perspective of who I was. I was no longer the bulldog, right? I was just a guy from a farm that couldn't act anymore, right? This is just who I was. And I learned all this through this entire section. This is where I learned everything. And then I learned, this guy's just like me. I was just a normal guy that had a hard time, right? It's a big deal, my perception shift. In the end, you get the money shot. Hey, oh. The resolution, happy ever after, or cliffhanger. You either tie it up or leave a small hole. You know, depending on what you like. If you like happy endings, tie it up. If you like cliffhangers, man, leave that little bit. Leave something unanswered, right?
I wonder what you were wearing when you showed up and how bad you really smelled.
So honestly, it was a lot like this. It was jeans, not even good shoes. These are some pretty nice shoes I had on my level. And a button down that was all sweaty and gross. With no cool blazer that my wife picked up. She has better style than I do. So that's where it's at. Called the reach around, right? This is where you go all the way back to the beginning and circle it back to this point. So, at the end of this story, it circled all the way back that the only reason he bought from me was why? This is a normal guy. Had a hard time, right? Who's the new guy in this equation? This is the first part of multiple stories. Don't give it all away, but you want to show growth through perception shift, right? If you're having more than one story, like if you're writing a book or doing a mini series, right? You can't give it all away in the first shot. You gotta save something. Yeah. So the big finish. This is the time of loose ends, good, bad, or otherwise. If the story ends here, leave no holes empty. Wink. All right. This is the happy ever after. So if it ends here, bring it all together. Nobody wants to be felt like they're missing something, right? Expect your audience to be as smart as you. Okay? You don't want to leave them guessing. Wash it off, kids. Come on. This is no horror's bath. Wash it off. Decompress. Let the ending settle in. Take a second to let people resolve themselves. This is why I don't climax at the end. Right? So, the change leads to victory. After I've given up, he told me that. I got the deal, right? And then I ride off into the sunset. After you get the victory, after you get the sale, you got to cuddle time. You got to get a little cuddle time in there, right? Because they can back up. You get it all finished, you climax, you got that big finished, great story, right? And then you just get out of bed and, all right, see you later. It's over. No. You got to give her a little I love you. You know what I mean? Maybe just a love you. Or thanks for the 4 minutes. That's the money shot. Everybody got that? If you don't give a little bit of I love you after you climax, fell in, and come back in with the victory, if you don't do that, it's the same thing as saying, then the Titanic hit the iceberg, and the iceberg laughed. The end. Terrible story, right? You need a little bit so your audience, so your listener, your person watching you, can absorb everything that just happened and come up with their own conclusion. I didn't tell you what the table, kind of wood the table was. I didn't tell you what the CEO was wearing. I didn't tell you his name, the company, what the brake pads look like, what springs are going to, I didn't tell you any of that. Because you need your audience, the people buying, to make it their idea. Okay? So if you're selling anything, right, you're just an observant reporter. That's what you do. I'm just here to tell you what I see. Okay? Here's what I see in electricians, right? Whatever you're doing. Your client. Here's everything I see. List, boom, boom, car insurance works the same way. Here's everything I see. Tell me everything. Okay? And then you just report. Boom, boom, boom. This wire, that wire, this counter, spigot, whatever. Does that make sense? Okay? And let your clients, or observer, finish the story for you. That's the I love you. That's the cuddle time, right? I'm gonna go to my wife after I'm done, and I'll go, would you like to cuddle? You want a drink of water? You want something? No, I just give her space to do whatever the hell she wants, and she finishes the story, right? Married men? No? My little ones? Cool. All right. So that's also where you leave your cliffhanger. So if you want to say do a bathroom and a kitchen, but you're only getting the bathroom, right? However you would tie it, no, I'm not in construction, so I'm gonna bullshit my way through this really well, right? That bathroom is on the other side of the kitchen. They share a wet wall. Okay? I know that much. So I'm going to do this bathroom, that's fine. We got that all worked out. What's going to end up happening is when I dig into this wall to capture this drain, it's going to hit the dishwasher, or it's going to hit the sink drain, right? So we might have to move into the kitchen. So let's walk into the kitchen, check it out. Yeah, see, right here, part of this wall's going to have to come out. We move the fridge. I was like, listen, I won't charge you for moving this wall, moving the fridge, cutting the wall, but we might have to put a new sink in here. Maybe. And then she or he's gonna go, God, you know what? I haven't really liked this counter. He's like, well, do you like the color? I was like, not really. Well, here, I got some samples. Right? Maybe that's how you get it. Because you take them on the stride. Well, if I do this, I may do this. Oh yeah, see, failure. I'm gonna have to cut out that wall. I just kind of stuck there. Where it is. Then a change comes in the client's mind. You know what? I don't really like that counter anyway. Listen, I'm not going to charge you to do this. Whether you get a kitchen or not, I'm not going to charge you to cut this wall. Right? nice guy, I want to do what I can. And then she's like, you know what? Let me talk to my husband. Okay. Get a call. Let's do the bathroom and the kitchen at the same time to save on labor. Right? Does that make sense? Was I close? Was I?
A little bit.
Yes! I
You're
have
hired.
no idea what I was talking about.
Right.
There's always options, always samples, always options given, an ABC, whatever.
Give 2 options. Never give people more than 2 options. Ever. Ever.
3 options. Good, better, and best.
I don't like that because I don't like doing good, better, and best because I only want to work with better and best. That's all I want. I
But
don't-
some people's budget is only good.
Right. So
Right.
when you
Gauge.
To make it better.
start with good and call it better, your best is in the middle, right? So when they see those prices and they're like, I can only do the cheap one, I'm like, okay. And then you come in and you say, instead of $300, I did it. It's the good stuff. I only got it for $100. Now you're a fucking hero. Right? So instead of getting the Italian marble or the laminated wood, see, I know a little. You get, the nice solid wood. It's not marble, but it's not laminated. The wood's the good. Marble's better. The Italian, whatever the best marble is, or quartz, or whatever people like with the counters, that's the best. You don't even mention that, right? And if they like the marble, then you're like, okay, well, within this marble, I have good, which is better, best, and then you have this fantastic marble, right? I'm not sure quartz or whatever. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Don't ever start lowest. Start in the middle. That's your good. The middle's your good. Okay? That's where you can make your money. So let them finish their own story. So when they have the 2 options, the better and the best, good and the better, right? They're more often than not, going to pick the lowest, right? Budget, people want to say. They're still going to get good shit. It's still going to look nice. You're still going to look like a hero forever. Because then you're going to come back like, in that same budget, it's not even the worst stuff. I actually ended up getting really good stuff for the same price. The other stuff wasn't available, but look at this awesome stuff I got right here. It cuts better, it installs better, it's better to work with, it looks better in the end. It's gonna last longer, you're gonna look like a hero for longer, maybe you can warranty it longer. I don't know how that works, but this is just some ideas what I would, like if I were to come to your company, and I was like, boom, here's how we wanna do this. And I would walk you through, well, I need to know what the hell I'm talking about, right? You guys give me a little lesson before I gave you one. But I would come to your company or anybody's company, and I would say, hey, give me everything, right? Okay, boom, here's how I would do it in my experience, because I've been doing this for decades, right? So here's what I do. Boom, 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 boom. Show you how I would do it. Then with your knowledge and what you just learned from me, you take that and tell your story. Does that make sense? Because in the end, all you want is the happy ending. That's all we want is the money shot, right? We want to get the money, we want to get the money shot. This is not just true for business, although being a good storyteller is the biggest multiplier in business. Not the degree, not all the schooling, not all the training. It's learning how to be a good storyteller. Learning how to be a good storyteller will multiply your income in your business way faster than a degree will. And that's the truth. So, in the end, give her the I love you, you know what I mean? Let the customer feel good for whoever you're talking to. Okay? Telling a story to ourselves changes how we feel. Telling a story to others changes how they feel. Telling a story with feeling can change the world. I'm Michael Johnson, Outspoken Strategies.
Woo!
Any questions? We got no time, but if you guys gotta go. I'm happy to answer questions if you have.
That was good.
You got it all, man.
How fast can that be done?
That can be done in about